Hi, Sarah. You're looking so much better. What a lovely outfit.
Thank you.
Are you feeling better?
I really am. I think just having somebody to talk to makes a lot of difference. Really makes a lot of difference.
Lots of people say that, so I'm glad.
And maybe, it's been 3 weeks or so. Maybe that medicine's kicking in a little bit. But it was easier to get up this morning and get dressed.
Excellent.
I think maybe I was looking forward to seeing you.
Wow. I'm really pleased. Thank you. Thank you. That's lovely. How did the week go?
Well, I did make it to the bank.
Oh, wow.
And so we
Gold
have...
star for you.
Well, there's some progress being made. One of the things about going to the bank is it just makes me think how angry I am with Sam. That he left me with such a mess.
Oh, yeah.
He never took care of anything. I mean...
What do you mean he never took care of anything? What's anything?
Well, he didn't write a will. He really didn't tell me everything that I needed to know. Even after 8 years, I hadn't discovered all of the financial arrangements that he had made. It was so complicated. And it's really still just such a mess. Such a mess.
Well, at least now you know what you shouldn't do, so you can work towards getting everything straightened out. Was the person at the bank helpful?
Really, yes. He's going to help me along with... he really feels as though David needs to be involved.
What do you think about David being involved?
It's really... That's the hard thing. I have to make the decision about whether or not I'm going to go on with more treatment.
Okay.
The doctor really wants me to go on and go with more chemotherapy.
Okay. Did he tell you how much, how long, how many sessions?
I think I might have blocked it out,
Okay.
I'm sure he must have told me something. All I know is that I really wanted to have time with the children. And if I go through more treatment, first of all, I'm probably going to be sick as a dog.
Okay.
I'm just getting a little energy back. I'm starting to feel a little bit alive.
Did the doctor tell you that this would probably have that effect?
Well, I know people lose their hair. I know they throw up a lot. I know they want to sleep a lot. Chemo just sounds like more than I can handle right now. I'm not ready to even think about it.
Okay. Did the doctor give you a time frame? He wanted your decision by a certain date?
Well, I go back in, it's on the calendar. Me and my memory right now.
Well, that's why you write it on the calendar. So, that's wonderful that
I'll
you
be going back in, and I think it's next week or the week after that I have another appointment with him, and I think he wanted me to start pretty soon after that. But everything's just so confused. The bank, the doctor,
Sarah,
David.
Let's just stop for a minute and let's focus on one thing, and then we'll go on to something else. I'd like you to focus on your appointment with the doctor that's coming up and the reality that you're very reluctant to tell David about this chemotherapy.
Well, that was part of what came up at the bank, because he feels as though David needs to be involved in helping me resolve some of the financial issues.
Yes.
And
why are you so reluctant to have David work with you? What is it that you're feeling that's keeping you from sharing this with him?
Well, was really disappointed that he didn't seem to be more involved with his father.
And what do you mean by involved?
He didn't come see him very often.
How often did he come,
Oh,
if you can remember?
twice a year
Oh,
at most.
okay.
At most. They brought the children down a couple of times. We came up here once, not too long after Lily was born. It was so hard to travel with him.
With Sam already. Yeah.
Oh, it was so hard.
What kinds of things, were going on with him that he couldn't travel?
Well, to get from Florida here, we'd have to stay overnight at a motel. And one night, he went wandering out in the hall in the motel, and he couldn't remember which room we were in. And I was
That must have been very scary for you.
Oh, it was so scary. It was so scary. And just having to do most of the driving. He could still drive at first. But I was so afraid the whole time he was driving.
Yeah.
I think I overreacted to so many things. And I tried to tell him what to do. And of course, he didn't like that.
No.
And he would get so angry with me. And then I'd get angry because he was angry when I was trying to help him. It was not good. So by the time we got up here, we probably weren't in the best of spirits at all.
Yeah. I'm sure that's true. And you only did it that one time because it was so hard?
Well, we did try it another time, and I got halfway here and turned around and went back. It just didn't seem as though it was going to be worth it, and the kids were so disappointed.
You must have been very disappointed, too.
Oh, I remember being so angry. I just got home, and I almost hit Sam. I was so angry at him. I just wanted to take him and slap him.
But what did you do?
Well, I got him home, and I said, let's go for a walk.
Oh, good for you.
And we went on the beach because he loved the beach. And I was kicking the sand, and he couldn't figure out what I was doing. And, people with Alzheimer's, they want to make sure they're close to you. At least Sam did. I don't know if everybody's like that. And he was so close to me, and I just wanted to get away. And so I gathered up a big bunch of shells, and I said, Sam. And I threw the shell out in the water, and he started throwing shells. And I just went running down the beach. And then he started calling. He was so frightened that I was leaving. And I ran back.
Did that help at all?
It did.
That very brief
Just running
opportunity?
away for a minute.
What did you use to relieve the anger and the stress during that 8-year period?
Well,
You ran and maybe a little bit of exercise, but on a regular basis, did you have things that helped you, that relieved some of the stress and the anger?
yeah.
I liked the smile. That brought back a pleasant memory.
Well, I told you I went to that group. And
The support group,
yes.
right?
And someone suggested that after Sam went to bed at night, if I was just so angry, I should just take and put a pillow in Sam's chair and just hit that pillow. And I really learned how to do that very well.
And it helped.
Yes.
What an
Yes.
excellent suggestion.
But the other thing that helped was that I really, the one thing I didn't tell you was Sam and smoking the cigars.
Uh-huh. Was he a smoker? Yeah.
Every now and then I would take a couple of cigars and I'd just go out in the back and I'd just break them. And I'd throw them in the trash. And I'd just cuss him out. I'd just cuss him out. I was so mad at him. I couldn't stand the fact that here he was with Alzheimer's and he's smoking cigars, and now I'm the one that has cancer. Well, you can't even imagine how angry I am.
I can't imagine because I can hear it in your voice. You just got really high-pitched. Why don't you give me your other hand for a minute? Can I have your other hand, Sarah? It's all right. I'll just hold this
when
one.
I get so angry.
Don't hate it.
Oh,
What we have to do is get
what
rid
I
of
could
it
do to
somehow.
that man. What I couldn't do to that man.
Okay. Why don't you?
And he's not here when I need him. He's not here.
So he's disappointed you in a lot of ways, hasn't he? Are you feeling abandoned now?
I'm just feeling, I don't know, lonely, frightened.
Of?
I don't want to die,
I know that.
but I don't want to live sick. I watch Sam. You just can't know what it's like.
In a way, I do. My uncle died of Alzheimer's.
Then you do know.
A little bit. I certainly didn't have the job of being with him 24/7.
See, I just don't want David and Ruth, as if she cares.
Why do you say that? Has Ruth done something that makes you think she doesn't care?
She just seems so cold, you know? It's like, well, wouldn't you too? I mean, she didn't expect me to come up here and be somebody sick like Sam was.
I'm sure she didn't want you to be sick, but why do you think she didn't want you to come up here? Because you're here.
Oh, I think she wanted me to come, but she didn't think I was going to have surgery and be a patient and have to take care of me and have to take me places and
Does she
give
do
up.
all of that?
Well, she offers.
Okay, but does she do it?
Well, she did take me, you know, before I had my surgery, she took me to the doctor a couple of times,
Okay.
and she did take me to buy a few things for the house.
And those times, were they unpleasant for you? How did she behave?
We don't really know each other that well.
That may be true. Would you like to work on that? Would you like that to be one of the goals that we set? Because that's what you said you want to do with the grandchildren.
We have so many goals.
Well, what we'll do is prioritize them, the ones that are the most important to start with, and we'll hit as many as we can. You did talk a little bit about getting involved at a congregation and meeting a rabbi, and maybe that would be a helpful thing to do in addressing the whole issue of dying. It's not an easy thing to talk about.
I wonder what it's like. I watched Sam, but he had been disappearing for so long.
Little pieces of Sam were gone, little bits at a time.
And sometimes I feel really, really guilty.
You feel guilty because...
Well, you know, at the end, I was really, every day I would just pray, Sam, if he'd just die,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if it would just be over, so I could live again. I was so tired. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
I
don't really know how you managed to do that 24/7 without help. But
you know,
asking for Sam to die was not only for you, it was for Sam. Wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't just selfish. Although personally, I don't even like the word selfish. There isn't anything bad about wanting your life back.
well, it's just he didn't have any. I mean, there wasn't anything left. He was all shriveled up and
No quality
Had
of
to do
life anymore.
had nurses come in or aides come in to help keep him halfway clean. He couldn't talk anymore. He didn't know who I was.
And that is so awful.
And that's what frightens me. That's what frightens me.
You're afraid that you're going to do that? I don't understand. Tell me.
No, it frightens me that I'm going to disappear before the children ever know me.
So that brings us back to what the doctor said in your appointment next week. I think it would be a really good idea for you to have someone to go with you. If you want David or Ruth, that would be fine. You need someone to be there to be another set of ears.
But I don't want them to know that I think I don't want to do chemo. I don't want them to know that.
Why? This
I'd
is your
rather-
son.
Well,
He's your health care representative, you told me. He needs to know.
I don't know if I'm more afraid that he'll try and talk me into chemo or if he won't care whether I do it or not.
It seems to me that David is a pretty reasonable guy from what you've told me.
I love him so much.
I know you do. You're
I haven't
lucky.
had time to let him know how much I admire him for all he has done. I just keep being so angry that he wasn't down with me more.
Do you think it would help if we had a talk with David? If we had a session like this with David and Ruth? I do family sessions.
Well, that's a possibility. That we're back to goals again, and one of the things.
But it would be an opportunity to talk about your prognosis and the doctor's recommendations. It would be an opportunity to share the dream that you have for whatever time you have left, to get to know the children better.
I want to take him on a trip. I always wanted to take Lily. I love the theater, and I love art, and she loves music. And I wanted to take her on a trip to New York, just me
How wonderful.
with Lily.
Well, you know, that's something you need to think about.
There has to be a way. There has to be a way.
I think there is a way. And I think we need to start with the doctor's appointment next week, and inviting David or David and Ruth to be part of your team, the Sarah team, the team that's going to help you get through all of this.
After so many years not being here for them, now And I didn't think they were there for me when I was in Florida. It's going to be pretty hard. Pretty hard.
What's going to be pretty hard?
Well, you know, I tried to do everything by myself moving up here.
Yeah, I know.
I
You're
didn't
one
ask for any
independent lady.
And now to ask for help, that's going to be very, very hard.
One of your great strengths is that you're independent.
Maybe you can help me. We'll make a plan, I hope. Oh, I hope.
You lived through 8 years of being a caregiver. You're a strong person. You've asked for help before when you gave Julie permission to have me come and help you. I know that the things we've talked about today are really hard, Sarah. And you've really focused some of the things for me. You're really set on being independent, but you might want to think about having at least someone else at your doctor's appointments. That it might be very beneficial to have another set of ears, someone to listen to all of the gobbledygook that doctors say, and just to help you so that you don't have to worry about writing things down or remembering. You want very much to spend some quality time with both Lily and Jacob. So that would be something that we can talk more about, and maybe you can think about it during the next week or so. Probably one of the most important things is the decision about what you want to do for follow-up medical treatment, based on what the doctor tells you, what your choices are.
It is so hard because I want to live. But I don't want to live if I'm going to be a burden like Sam was.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to live and just be a cranky old lady in pain.
I totally agree with you.
And I don't want to live if it means another 3 or 4 months, if that's what it's about, of just being sick all the time.
I understand what you're saying. And we can view it from that perspective.